Hello, Maeya TV. My name is Eligia, and I'll be your host today. Today, I'm with a very special guest, Denise Khumalo, who is a director and a producer, and we're very excited to get to talk to her about some of her past projects and what she's currently working on. So, how are you, Denise?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm very happy to have you here, and especially since you've worked with our own Lynn at her festival. So
Yes,
we're gonna talk.
fun.
Yeah,
That's great.
we're gonna talk about your documentaries, and but first up, I do want to talk to you about where you grew up.
Okay, so I was born and raised in Harare, Zimbabwe. Harare is the capital city, and I was there until high school. So I actually moved to the US for my graduate and undergraduate. So I got to America when I was 19. So it's interesting that my teenage years was Zimbabwe, and then my adulthood was America. So it was a very interesting time.
Did you find anything that was, I mean, as an artist, did you want to do film since you were very young?
Yes.
And did you see any cultural differences that really influenced you? Like, did you want to bring something from Zimbabwe here to the United States?
Well, my influence is my family, especially on the women's side, they're fantastic storytellers.
Mm-hmm.
They have the best stories. So I felt it was only right for me to keep the stories going.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I was a creative. I didn't know what exactly, but then it ended up being documentaries. So, yeah.
And you studied here in LA, right?
Yes, I went to school at New York Film Academy in Burbank.
So exciting. So, did you move directly here to the LA when you moved to the US?
I moved to Fredonia, New York, in upstate New York, and it was a good 4 years. That's why I did my undergrad, but for my master's, I needed warmth, so I came to Los Angeles.
You know the amount of people we've asked and they say it's because of the weather.
No, it's the weather, honestly, yes.
Yeah, I think it's every day. It's not the artistry, it's literally just the weather.
Yeah, the Africans, I needed warmth again. I couldn't do this.
Yeah. It's a lovely place, LA. Okay, so when you were growing up, whether back home during high school or here during your college years, what were some of the influences you had for filmmaking?
Honestly, for filmmaking in Zimbabwe, I didn't have anyone to look up to.
Mm.
And that's why I wanted to get into the industry because I didn't see anyone. So I wanted to be that person. The only influence I did have was from South Africa. And so it's South African directors, producers, and actors. That's all I had. But I wasn't in the film world, so I wasn't remembering people's names. And we didn't have the internet was there, but it was dial up. So I couldn't just like search for people on IMDb. I just didn't have access. So I would just say one of my favorite films was Sarafina, and it's actually sad, but it talks about the apartheid and everything that happened, and it was so tragic. But I love that they shared the story because I got to understand so much more about Nelson Mandela and everything that he went through.
Wow, that's incredible. So let's talk about some of your work. You also, as a director and a producer, you're intimacy coordinator, right? Can you tell us about that project?
Yes, so I am an intimacy coordinator. I've been doing it for a couple of years. I started studying during the pandemic, and I'm part of the Intimacy Coordinators of Color. And during the pandemic, I kept seeing posts about it, and I didn't know what it was. And then I spoke to the amazing Anne James, and she explained exactly what it was. Intimacy coordinating is basically you're helping set the scene and making sure you choreograph and make sure that the talent feels safe. Because sometimes people think intimacy is sex. That's not intimacy. It is, but that's not the only way. So if someone is going to sit on your lap, if someone is going to touch your cheek or kiss your cheek, that's still intimacy. So I have to talk to the talent and make sure that they're okay with stuff like that. So it's been super, super fun because I feel like I'm here to help protect certain people. And so I can do that through intimacy coordinating.
It's incredible. It's a really important job to have, especially on sets. But it hasn't been a thing in the past, right? So say you have a new filmmaker and they want to, promote this, or say maybe they don't have a budget to get an intimacy coordinator. What's something that everyone can learn from this on, say, like an independent film?
Oh, great. So my best advice is always check in with the actor. Check in to see what their boundaries are. And every single day. Some people do it one time and it's like, oh, this is it. The next day, something could have happened to them. So make sure that they're okay. Have them practice and rehearse by themselves and then on screen. You'd be so shocked how many times, no practice, nothing. You throw them in a scene in the bedroom and I'm just like, you can't do that. And sometimes talent feels as if they have to do what the director says. They have to get naked. They have to wear this. You don't have to do anything. It's your body, your choice, and your right. So just know you don't have to do every single thing that's needed. And honestly, if you go online, you'll find intimacy coordinators of color and other intimacy coordinators. And we're a nice group of people. If you reach out, if you don't have a budget, we can still give you advice. So even if we physically can't be there, we can still help out in some way.
That's really incredible. And I think something that all filmmakers can learn from,
Yeah.
to really take into account their actors and everyone's respect on set, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about some of your other projects. So you have a couple documentaries. So let's talk about Unconventional.
Okay.
Yeah. So how was that project? How did you bring that to life?
So Unconventional happened because I was at a point in my life where I was sad. I was sad. Should I be doing this? Am I going to make money? And I was doubting myself because the film industry was definitely taking like a dive. And so I said that I needed to make a film to inspire myself and to inspire other people. So that's how Unconventional became.
Mm-hmm.
So Unconventional is a documentary about creators and artists who live in Los Angeles,
Mm-hmm.
and how they made it to the top, how they're struggling, or just their journey in general. So I have people who are accomplished, I have people in the middle, then I have people who are just starting out. So I wanted to do that. So whoever watches it, whatever part of your career you are, you can learn and you can get something from them. So that's how it happened. And it ended up really good. It got the best inspirational film award. And I was like, that's what I wanted to do, was to inspire people. So I was like, okay, it's well done.
That's incredible. Yeah. Congratulations on that project.
Thank you.
There's another one that has the English title, My Home, but it has another title, right?
Yes, so it's Kyalami, which is in the Ndebele. Kyalami means my home. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
For that project, again, was it based on yourself? Where did you film that, and what was the inspiration?
Okay, so the inspiration is when I got to America, I was told I'm not black enough by everyone. African Americans and all the other races, like, you're not black. I was like, okay, but I am. Okay. Then when I would go home to Zimbabwe, they would say you're not African enough. So I was just like, but I was born here. I don't understand. So no matter where I was in this constant limbo of just never fitting in. I felt like such an outsider. Mm-hmm. And so Kyalani was me finally going back home after 6 years to see my country, see my people, and it was a self-discovery documentary. So I found out so much about myself and my culture. I take you to the city and I take you to the rural areas, so you get to learn about my tribe and where I'm from.
That's incredible. Did you get to film some of your own family in it as well?
I did. I actually did. It was the hardest thing to do, trying to wrangle parents.
Yeah. Or they all just try to laugh the whole time, and you're like, I need a serious take of you.
No, they're just like, we don't like cameras. We don't like cameras. Okay. And I'm like, okay. So my dad wouldn't film unless my mom was there. Mm. He's like, until your mom's here, I'm not filming. And I was just like, oh, okay. But my mom, my dad, and my sister are in the documentary. Mm. So it's just a good way, if you don't know me and you're like, hey, I'd like to find out about her and her culture. If you watch Kyalami, you have a snippet of what it's like in my life. It's
really interesting. You mentioned your dad. Does he help? Does he work the camera as well?
My dad doesn't. My dad is a retired general from the Army.
Yes. But he was there. He was there helping you out with the project.
Yes. He was there to help because I was in the U.S. and so I had to get permits and everything in Zimbabwe. So I had my sister helping me produce in Zimbabwe. And my dad would help with certain things as well.
Oh, that's incredible. Why have you been doing documentaries? Do you think you really want to tell these stories, or do you ever think about writing something that's, much more fictional?
Mm-hmm. I've done both. I've done narrative, I've done unscripted, but my favorite quote that answers this question the best is by Samuel L. Jackson. He says, you go and watch movies to be entertained, and you watch documentaries to learn. And so I want people to learn about different cultures and different people. And so I have done scripted, but I feel more of a connection when we can sit here and just talk to each other and not focus on the words and how everything else is, just you being vulnerable. Mm-hmm. So that's why I prefer documentaries.
Yeah. Another one that you did was the Quarantine Chronicles. Is that correct?
Yes.
And is that one same thing? Well, based on real life, right? Yeah. What was happening at the time? Was it filmed during the pandemic, or how was that?
Yes, it actually was. It was during the pandemic, and it was a lot of Black Lives Matter going on, and a lot of people were suffering. No one talks about it, but a lot of people in the film industry took their lives. Because if you work freelance, you're paycheck to paycheck. You don't have a stable one. And so it was really, really tough because not everyone can get unemployment. If you're an immigrant, there's just so many reasons. And so Quarantine Chronicles was just me doing a little montage of what the pandemic was like for us BIPOC folks. So that's why I did it. I just wanted to share and express what I was going through during the pandemic with others.
That's incredible that you're writing, you're participating in these documentaries about important topics, but you also have this new project that you're going with the animation studios, yes, right? So can you tell us about that project?
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's called The Matumbalas, and it's an animated series on Maeya TV. And I'm the producer on that. And it's such an amazing show because it's about a Tanzanian family that's living in Hopeland, which is a fictional place, but it's how they're trying to keep their like African tradition alive in America while trying to acclimatize to this society. So it's really funny. It's a comedy series, and I love it. Every time I see the script or I see the recordings, I'm always laughing. So I'm obsessed. You should definitely check it out.
So it seems to be very lighthearted, but it's rooted in something really important, and we talked about it a little bit, right? Like connecting with your culture and things like that. Okay, you had a screening recently, you were telling me. Can you tell me about that?
Oh, yeah. So just got back from Pixar in San Francisco with a screening for Black History Month, and it was amazing. It was just so nice to see other people of color showing us their work because I didn't know any person of color for animation. There isn't. We just got ourselves a Black mermaid.
Yes, it was incredible.
Exactly. Yeah, and this is 2024, right? Yeah. So it's taken this long. So for us to come together and showcase just BIPOC folk was amazing. It was great.
Yeah, and it's still Black History Month, so you know, hopefully that you can still screen it, and hopefully you still get a little bit in for this month. Okay, so let's lastly talk about your production company and what you hope to achieve, and what your future long-term goals with it are.
So my production company is called Nandi Productions, and Nandi is in Ndebele. It means like good or nice. It depends on how you're using it. And I think if you can tell, I use a lot of my culture. Kailami, which is my home, Nandi Productions, I make sure I incorporate myself in it because that's the best way to express myself. I'm a proud Zimbabwean. So anyone who meets me is like, oh, Denise, she's Zimbabwean, because I'll tell you the first time I meet you. And my goal is honestly to have as many people create their films. I want to help immigrants. I want to just help people of color, women, just to create films because it's so hard to do. It's absolutely hard to do. And so I didn't have help. And it was really hard because as an immigrant, you get here, you go to school, you're not allowed to work, but somewhere you're supposed to pay for bills. So I'm like, but how if I can't? So it doesn't make sense. And then you can only work on campus, but not all campuses offer jobs. So it's very stressful. And so after you finish school, then you have to figure out how am I staying in this country? The options for visas are just complicated. I think they always make it look so easy on movies like, oh, you just do this. No, it's actually stressful. It's a lot. It's a lot. So having to deal with that, I want to give opportunities where I can give them work permits, student visas, give them the best that I can. So that's what I want to do. Just help the helpless or some that just need guidance because that's what I wish I had when I first came here.
And it's inclusive, right? Like it's not just Zimbabwe stories, right? So it stretches to people of color and anyone that has.
Yeah, and I'm a huge ally for the LGBTQIA community. So I mean, anyone who's underrepresented, that's who I'm here to help.
That's incredible. And okay, lastly, I do want to ask if you have any advice for any filmmakers because you're so young, but you've done so much already. So yeah, what can you tell your audience?
What I would say to the audience is, I know it's very cliche, but be yourself. Like they keep recycling the same stuff over and over. Just show yourself in it, and that's what is going to catch people's eye, catch people's attention. When I first came to the U.S., being an immigrant was not cool at all. Like we work hard to like hide our accents or change the way we dress just so we can fit in, but now we're finding a place where you can just stand out being yourself. So be yourself and make sure you find your tribe. The hardest thing is once you have your tribe, they have your back. So whenever you need like crew or you need actors or you need equipment, they can help you. So having that crew is crucial because a lot of the friends that I graduated with, I ended up working with them on future projects. So take it seriously. Even if you're doing a 2-week course, 3-week course, you just never know who's going to end up being the CEO of a company. One day they start off as a PA, next thing they're the CEO. So that's why you have to treat the janitor the same way you treat the CEO. So if you do that and you're a good person, you'll be fine because people are really mean. And if you're just a nice person, you'll be shocked how well your life will go.
Yeah. And you know, that's really incredible. What do you think is important to finding that like nucleus that you have family? Is it like mindedness? Because do you work with people from other cultures too, right?
Oh,
I'm sure your cinematographer is completely different
oh
than,
yeah.
you know.
Well, the thing is, LA is very difficult. They have LA has the rap of LA has the rap of, oh, people are fake, they're not real. But the truth is, people born in LA are very nice. It's the people who come to visit who are mean and pretend. So there's a huge difference. And how I found my tribe is you're right. I make sure I find people who align with my goals. And the best advice that I'll give you is that find your groups. And how you find these groups, I did it online. Facebook groups. So I'm in Brown Girls Mafia. They're absolutely amazing. It's free. They give you resources, discounts, and they have job postings. So I got a lot of jobs from Brown Girls Mafia. And then I'm also on Who You Know. So it's a play on words, HUE, Who You Know. And so that one is a nice resource as well because they're constantly posting jobs. And if you need help, if you need anything, they can get back to you. And it's free as well. So once I got into these groups, I started finding like-minded people. So that really changed the trajectory for my careers. I joined these groups, I found a family, and I was great. The last group I'm in is Women Working in Reality TV. So you see how it's just different groups, women's group, a BIPOC group. Like it's just that's where I know my strength is. So I look for people who can help me in that sense.
That's incredible. And really cool name on that one too, the Mafia one. That's really, really cool.
My dad's like, why is it a mafia? I'm like, we're really nice. Cool. I was like, I promise we're like the nicest mafia.
That's so sweet. Okay, lastly, it's really important because we want to be able to find you, okay? So what is your website for your production company and what is your social, Instagram, Facebook, whatever?
Okay, so if you want to find me, my website is my first name and my last name. So Denise Khumalo. So DeniseKhumalo. And my Instagram is not my name. I know I'm that person. It's Maku, which is Makhu. So if you want to find me on Instagram, Maku, Makhu. And my production company is Nandi Productions. MNADI Productions.
All right. So yeah, check her out. And honestly, thank you so much for the space. We learned so much about you today, and best of luck with your projects, with your documentaries, and we hope to see more from you, okay?
Thank you.
So thank you so much for the space, and thank you to everyone who's been watching. We hope to see you next time.